It's happening. In about a week's time, millions of children across the UK will be putting on their uniforms, picking up their backpacks and heading back through their school gates. And I am having flashbacks. Not because I'm going back, thank God. I'm 52. I've done my time. I've served my sentence. I've been paroled from the fluorescent lit nightmare of formal education. I've got the emotional scars and the cold tea to prove it. But I remember the dread that started about 2 weeks before the end of the summer holidays. The slow, creeping realisation that freedom was ending. That soon I'd be back in that building. Back in that scratchy uniform that felt like it was made of angry bees. Back in that sensory nightmare. I remember the night before. The stomachache that wasn't a stomachache. The not sleeping. The lying awake staring at the ceiling. Running through every possible catastrophe. What if I can't find my classroom? What if I sit next to someone who chews with their mouth open? What if the teacher calls on me and I don't know the answer and everyone stares at me and I become known as the girl who didn't know the answer and that becomes my identity forever? I remember the walk to school, the heavy feeling in my chest, the way the world seemed to get smaller and smaller the closer I got. The way I wanted to turn around and run home and never come back. The way I actually considered faking a serious illness. Maybe if I eat this weird thing from the back of the cupboard, I'll get food poisoning and I won't have to go. I never did it, but I thought about it a lot. And now, decades later, I'm watching other people's children go through the same thing and I'm feeling it all over again. Not because I'm going back, but because I remember what it felt like to be a child whose brain was not designed for school. And I worry about those children, the ones who are dreading it, the ones whose parents don't understand why they're struggling, the ones who are being told to just get on with it when every fibre of their being is screaming, I can't! And also this uniform is making me want to crawl out of my skin. Hello, I'm Jenny, 52, lifelong anxiety, waiting for ADHD and autism assessments. And I have a complicated relationship with school. Not because I hated learning, I loved learning. I loved reading, I loved knowledge, I loved the idea of education. But the environment, the noise, the lights, the uniform, the transitions, the social expectations, the performance of normal, the constant unrelenting demand to be something I wasn't. That was the problem. And as the schools get ready to go back, I can't stop thinking about the kids who are feeling exactly what I felt. The kids who are dreading it. The kids who don't have the words to explain why. The kids who are being told they're being dramatic, when actually their nervous system is staging a full-scale revolt. Today we're talking about back to school anxiety, what it feels like, why it happens, and what we can do about it. Grab a cuppa or a cold tea. I won't judge, I've got 3 of them on my desk. They're like a little ceramic family of abandoned potential. Let's talk about what school actually feels like for a brain that isn't designed for it. Because for neurotypical kids, school is fine. It's not always fun, it's not always easy, but it's manageable. The environment works for them. For neurodivergent kids, for kids with anxiety, for kids whose brains process the world differently, school is a sensory war crime. It's the Geneva Convention's worst nightmare. It's a building designed by people who have apparently never met a child and think fluorescent lighting is an acceptable way to illuminate anything, ever. The noise, the chatter, the bells, the scraping of chairs, the clicking of pens, the shuffling of feet, the teacher's voice, the kid behind you who won't stop humming, the kid next to you who won't stop tapping their pencil, the kid across the room who's eating something crunchy and you can hear every single crunch and you're going to lose your mind. All of it, all at once, all the time, without a break, without a pause. And your brain is trying to process all of it, every single sound, every single movement, every single piece of information, as if it's all equally important. It's like being asked to run a marathon while solving complex equations, and also someone is shouting at you in a language you don't understand, and there's also a wasp in the room, and also your sock is twisted inside your shoe. And then there's the transitions, moving from one classroom to another, from one subject to another, from one mental state to another, with no warning, with no time to adjust. The bell rings, you have 4 minutes. 4 minutes to pack up, navigate a crowded corridor full of shouting children who've apparently been fed nothing but sugar and chaos for breakfast, find your next classroom, sit down and immediately start thinking about a completely different subject. That's not a transition. That's a whiplash. That's a neurological car crash. That's the mental equivalent of being asked to run a 100-metre sprint, stop instantly, then solve a Rubik's Cube while also reciting the periodic table. And for kids with ADHD, autism or anxiety, that car crash happens multiple times a day. Plus the uniform, the scratchy fabric, the wrong shoes, the tie that's too tight, the trousers that are the wrong length, the constant awareness of your own body and how it doesn't quite feel right. It's like being wrapped in a blanket made of bees that are also mildly judgmental. Plus the social expectations, the need to perform normal, the need to hide your panic, the need to pretend you're fine when you're anything but, the need to make eye contact when eye contact feels like staring directly into the sun. Plus the sensory overload, the fluorescent lights that flicker imperceptibly but your brain perceives it and is preparing to run from a light bulb. The smell of the dinner hall, that particular cocktail of boiled cabbage and wet polyester that haunts me to this day. The chaos of the playground where you're supposed to have fun, but actually you're just trying to survive. School isn't just hard for some kids, it's actively harmful. It's a stressor, a trigger, a thing that makes their anxiety worse. And then we wonder why they don't want to go. Let me hit you with some numbers, because this isn't a small problem. This isn't a few kids being a bit nervous about going back. Persistent absence, kids missing 10% or more of their possible school sessions, is now at around 18.1% in England. That's nearly 1 in 5 pupils. 1 in 5 kids are missing at least 1 in 10 days of school. And severe absence, kids missing more than 50% of school, is at around 2.4%. That's nearly 177,000 children. 177,000 kids who can't walk through those gates. 177,000 kids whose anxiety is so loud, so overwhelming, so completely unbearable that they physically cannot do it. These aren't kids who are being naughty. These aren't kids who are disengaged. These aren't kids who just can't be bothered. These are kids whose nervous systems have reached their absolute limit and are saying, no more. It's called emotionally based school avoidance. And it's real, it's documented, it's a thing. And it's not going away. The numbers aren't getting better, they're getting worse. In autumn 2025 to 26, 18.1% of pupils were persistently absent, up from 17.79% the previous autumn. It's going in the wrong direction, and every single one of those children is a child who's struggling, a child who needs help, a child who's being failed by a system that wasn't designed for them. I see those kids. I was one of those kids. I was the one who couldn't explain why I couldn't go. I was the one who was labelled difficult and disengaged, but actually I was terrified. I was the one who got really good at forging my mum's signature on absence notes. That's not a skill they put on your CV, but it should be. Excellent attention to detail, particularly in the replication of parental signatures. And I don't want that for today's children. Let's talk about what back to school anxiety actually looks like. Because it doesn't always look like crying and saying, I don't want to go. Sometimes it looks like stomach aches, headaches, feeling sick, not being able to sleep. The kind of stomach ache that's not quite a stomach ache, but it's definitely something and you can't explain it and the doctor doesn't find anything. But it's still there, sitting in your gut like a tiny anxious gremlin. Sometimes it looks like irritability, snapping at people, being difficult for no reason. The kind of irritability where everything is too much and everyone is too loud and even the way the light is hitting the floor is making you want to scream. Sometimes it looks like withdrawal. going quiet, not wanting to talk about school, avoiding the conversation entirely. The kind of quiet that's not peaceful is terrified. The kind of quiet where you're just trying to make yourself invisible. Sometimes it looks like meltdowns. Big, overwhelming, apparently out of nowhere meltdowns that leave everyone confused and exhausted. The kind of meltdown that comes from holding it together all day, every day, until the pressure is too much and you just explode. Sometimes it looks like procrastination, putting off getting ready, taking forever to eat breakfast, forgetting things. The kind of procrastination that's not laziness, it's fear. The kind of procrastination that's your brain desperately trying to delay the inevitable. Sometimes it looks like defiance. I'm not going, you can't make me, I hate school. The kind of defiance that's actually a cry for help. The kind of defiance that's just your kids saying, I can't do this, in the only way they know how. And sometimes it just looks like silence. A quiet, internalised dread that no one notices until it's too late. The experts say to look out for signs of low mood, distress or anxiety as children return to school. But those signs can be subtle. They can be easy to miss because kids hide things. They don't want to be a burden. They don't want to worry you. So they put on a brave face and pretend everything's fine until they physically can't. So how do you help? Not a cure. Nothing cures the anxiety. Nothing makes the dread go away completely. But a few things make it less impossible. 1. Validate. Don't minimise. Just get on with it doesn't work. It never works. It just makes them feel more alone. What works is, I see you. I see that this is hard for you. I believe you. It's okay to be scared. That's it. That's the thing. Just being seen, believed, validated. 2, talk about it. Not the night before, not the morning of. That's too late. That's when the anxiety is at its peak. Start now. Start talking about what the first day will look like, what the routine will be, what's staying the same, and what's changing. Anxiety loves the unknown. The unknown is where it thrives. The unknown is where it builds its little anxious empire. So take away the unknown. 3, prepare the night before. Uniform laid out, bag packed, lunch made, phone charged. Reduce the morning chaos. The morning is already stressful enough. Don't add, where are my shoes, to the list. 4, build in calm. A calm morning starts the night before. An earlier bed, a proper wind down, time to relax before the stress starts. 5, stay in touch with the school. Make sure the school knows. Make sure they understand. Make sure they're on your side. Because your child needs the school to understand. They need their teachers to know that they're struggling. They need to know that there's someone at school who gets it. 6, get help early. If the anxiety is really bad, if it's stopping them from attending, do not wait. Contact CAMHS early. Get support. The earlier you get help, the easier it is to turn things around. Don't wait until it's a crisis. Don't wait until they've missed so much school that going back feels impossible. Here's the thing about back to school anxiety. It's not just the kids who are anxious, it's the parents too. I see it. I see parents posting on social media about their dread, about the chaos of the mornings, about the pressure, about the guilt. I'm so glad they're going back, followed immediately by, I feel so guilty for saying that. I can't wait for the routine to come back, followed by, I'm going to miss them so much. It's going to be so quiet, followed by, what if they're not okay? What if they're struggling and I don't notice? What if I'm failing them? The anxiety is real, it's valid, it's understandable. But here's the thing, your anxiety is contagious. Your child can feel it, they can sense it, they can smell it on you like a scent. If you're anxious about them going back, they're going to be anxious too. If you're dreading the mornings, they will dread them too. If you're worried about their anxiety, they will feel that worry and internalise it. And that's not your fault. It's not a failure. It's just how attachment works. It's how connection works. But it does mean you need to look after yourself. Not just for you, for them. For the sake of their nervous system. So, take a breath, take a moment, look after your own brain, your own anxiety, your own dread. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't calm a child when your own nervous system is screaming. Here's what I wish someone had said to me back when I was a kid, dreading the return to school. I see you. I see that you're struggling. I believe you. That's the thing I never heard. I heard, you're being dramatic. I heard, it's not that bad. I heard, everyone feels like that sometimes. I heard, just get on with it. But I never heard, I believe you. I never heard, I see this is hard for you. I never heard, you're not broken, you're just different and that's okay. I never heard, this environment wasn't designed for you and that's not your fault. So let me say it now, to the kids who are dreading going back, to the kids who feel sick just thinking about it, to the kids who can't explain why, to the kids who are being told they're difficult when actually they're terrified. I see you. I believe you. It's not your fault. The environment wasn't designed for you, and that's not a failure on your part. And to the parents who are trying their best, who are worried about their kids, who are exhausted and scared and doing everything they can, I see you too. I believe you too. You're doing your best, and that's enough. So, that's the back to school rant for today. The dread, the anxiety, the overwhelm, the kids who are struggling, the parents who are trying. I've been there. I was the kid who couldn't explain why. I was the kid who was labelled difficult, when actually I was terrified and overwhelmed and exhausted. And now I'm the adult watching other kids go through the same thing, watching parents try to navigate a system that isn't designed for their children. It's not easy, it's not simple, but it's real. If this resonated with you, if you've got a kid who's dreading going back, or if you're dreading it yourself, let me know in the comments. Tell me your experience. Tell me what's helped. Tell me what hasn't. I read every single one. I can't always reply, but I see you. If you're new here, please subscribe. It helps more than you know. There's links in the show notes to support the show. Until next time, be kind to your brain, be kind to your kids, and if you're dreading the return to school, remember, you're not alone. Neither are they. This is Anxiously Ever After. I'm Jenny. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go and be very, very grateful that I'm not going back. I've done my time, I've served my sentence, and I'm never going back. Never. You can't make me. I'm 52, I'm an adult, and I'm free.